Hi, today you're going to talk a little bit about photography for websites and resolutions and handling image data. The photography and images on a website are absolutely critical in giving your website a flavour and bringing it to life. And it's amazing how a very basic design of website can quite easily be turned into something that looks quite magnificent by a few really good, really consistent photographs. So if you're looking for one piece of kit, even though you're doing all this yourself, that you actually want to go out and buy, then I would heartily recommend a really good digital camera and digital SLR camera, so you're actually seeing what you see through the lens. Many of the cameras now have a fold-out screen, a little LCD screen, so you can actually see what you're doing without having to peer down into it. So look at any of the ranges by Canon, Nikon, and so on, all the familiar names. You will probably want to be spending somewhere in the region of between 300 and 700 quid, depending on the kind of functionality that you want. But you really don't want to be doing product photography with a regular pocket type digital camera. Just a few key things to aim for. When you're taking pictures with one of these reasonably high resolution cameras, the files that you get from your camera will be enormous. They can be megabytes of data that you simply don't need on the website. So the skill is actually in making the files smaller, but keeping as much of the important data as possible. So typically, a couple of guidelines when you're shooting. You want to keep the backgrounds consistent. So whether you shoot against a white background or a black background, whatever suits your product range, ideally you want to shoot against the same background. This is so on the site when you're listing a series of products, there's consistency across them and people can compare one product with another. If a product is vastly different, in other words a white product on a white background you probably wouldn't want, you could flip the background but try to keep the positioning of the products roughly the same, so that it gives it a nice consistent feel when you're showing an array of 9 or 12 products. It's one of the things that really gives the site a consistent and professional feel. The second thing is it's worth putting your logo in a small form into the corner of your pictures, and also ideally if you have access to something with photographic layers such as Photoshop, or if you want to spend less money there's GIMP for the PC or various other tools for the Mac. If you have image editing software, then you can also overlay your logo with a very slight transparency over the image, which then effectively watermarks your image and stops people stealing your photography to sell the same product on their website. So presuming you've got these photographs now in quite a high resolution, the target typically is to get down to 72 dpi, dots per inch, and for a thumbnail you want to be about 100 by 100 pixels, or 960 pixels wide for a big detail shot, or anywhere in between, obviously, if you have a medium-sized image that you want. The reason we use 72 dpi is because it's the effective resolution of a monitor on the screen. So there is no point in having a 300 dpi image on the screen. If it's something that people are going to download and print, maybe it's worthwhile, but certainly not just just purely for a website. So by doing that, by getting down to 72 dpi and getting yourself down to maybe 600-700 pixels wide, you'll give yourself an image that's still quite detailed on screen, but will download very quickly and give people the best experience. A couple of obvious things. Do keep hold of your original images at high resolution, because you never know, one day if you get big enough you might be producing catalogues or producing beautiful artworks of your products. So don't just bin the files, or worse still, take them to a lower resolution and then save over the original, because you can't add resolution back in. So when you down-res something, you will lose the data that's not used. And finally, putting images onto your website, make sure you name them sensibly. Most shopping carts give you the option of naming images, and you may wonder why you do that, but the main reason is quite simple, that Google cannot see the data of an image. So it can't tell the difference. If you have 4 different SKUs, they might have 4 different product images as far as a human is concerned, but if all the images are called t-shirt, then it won't know the difference between them. So you want to say t-shirt green, large, t-shirt blue, large, t-shirt red, large, because then when you're being Googled, Panda does at least understand the difference between those, and you will get the best chance of getting your images shown in any image searches. I hope that's been useful. Happy photography.